guys, hey, how you doing? Is you doing? Because I'm miserable, but I'm mostly doing. So yesterday was a gigantic cluster. So, oh God, we'll talk about, what day is it? I guess we'll talk about Thursday night. So my husband came home, and he wanted to go out to eat, so we went out to that Mongolian place where I get a lot of vegetables and pork and stuff, and I just couldn't eat. And it's been like that since Tuesday. Just have not felt all that good. Tuesday I had some really horrible pains in my stomach, like my lower abdomen, to the point to where I had to cut my therapy short because I have therapy on Tuesdays and Thursdays now instead of Mondays and Thursdays. And so I actually had to leave my therapist office early because I was just like, oh God, I feel so bad. And I thought, well, here's two things that I thought. I thought, one, that I was having my lady time because it usually starts around the full moon. You know, I get a double whammy. I'm lucky like that. And number one, I thought maybe that was the deal, is that I was having my lady time, and I'm used to having a lot of pain when girly time comes around. Or number two, I thought maybe him and I had food poisoning because we both ate at the same place, and I had some soup, and he had something a little different, but you know, I'd taken a couple bites of his meat. That sounds so wrong. Of the meal that he had, but like I said, on Tuesday, I really wasn't feeling very good. So the pain started to the point to where it was even hard for me to get up, like off the couch and stuff like that at my therapist's office. I had to have Matthew help me out to the car, and I was just like, oh God, I have diarrhea, and he had diarrhea. So that's what made me think, okay, well, maybe him and I just have like a touch of food poisoning. So I was like, you know, hopefully it'll be over soon, whatever. So then Tuesday night, I was just rolling around in bed in so much pain, and I was like, oh God, please make this end. And it was just hurting so bad. So Wednesday morning came around, and like my stomach was super sore, and I kept having like really awful cramping and stuff like that, which again, I thought, well, maybe, you know, food poisoning mixed with lady time equals no bueno. But I still just thought it was nothing. You know, I still just thought it was like whatever. When Thursday rolled around, I started thinking about going to the emergency room. I was like, I don't think I should be feeling like this that long. I was running like a small fever and like having sweating a lot and just a lot of pain. Anytime I would try to sit up or move around or anything, like I would have like this stabbing pain in my abdomen, and other than that I would have horrible cramps. And I also wasn't going number 2 after Tuesday, so I was like, oh God. So of course my overactive imagination starts thinking candy cane Roux-en-Y syndrome, or let me explain that because I know there's going to be questions because nobody likes to Google but me. So Roux-en-Y candy cane Roux-en-Y syndrome is where you've lost a lot of that fat in your abdomen. You've lost a lot, and you know, your muscles are usually bowed out because of how much weight you had, so they're not flat up against your organs like they're supposed to normally after you've had weight loss surgery and stuff like that. If you've ever been a big girl, some people have hernias and stuff like that. But with this, you know, I do a lot of activity. I do a lot of working out. So that means that my organs are shifting and constantly bouncing up and down and all that stuff in the cavity of my abdomen. Instead of being pushed up nice and tight where it doesn't move a whole lot, it moves a lot because I have all that extra skin and all that extra space. So my thought was that, you know, because number one, I wasn't going to the bathroom. Number two, I was still in a ridiculous amount of pain, that I had one of my intestines kink. So when they say candy cane, it's because of the way we're shaped after the gastric bypass, and that one of our intestines could have slipped around it and couldn't get loose, so it could give you necrotic bowel syndrome. It could have your bowels rupture into your, your intestines, into your stomach lining, and you could go sepsis. So of course my overactive imagination is just thinking all these horrible things. I'm like, well, there's a fever and I'm not feeling good, and pain, and something's wrong, and it's. So like I said, we went out to dinner, and my pain, every time I would eat, like, my stomach would hurt. And so that finally pushed me over to the point where I was like, I have to go see somebody. So I had called the nurse advice line, and they were like, yeah, you should be seen within the next 18 hours. And so we just went into the emergency room. Luckily, there wasn't a whole hell of a lot of people there. And I got in almost immediately. They took me back, and I had to have a CAT scan, and they put in a IV, which I'll show you the catastrophe that was, as I bled everywhere. One small thing, I don't know about y'all's emergency rooms, and I don't know if you guys are in a teaching hospital or whatever, but every time they go to give me a damn IV, they always put somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're doing, because they're trying to teach people how to do it. And I mean, the next time I go in, I'm gonna be like, nope, 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 no, no, no. You're not giving me somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're doing, because every time I end up with 15 sticks before somebody can actually give. I usually have a three stick rule. You can stick me 3 times and then I'm done with you. And I mean, she got it, but like, she was doing that, push it in and trying to find my damn. It was not nice. I didn't appreciate it. I was already feeling pretty damn rough. And so let's talk about pain management here. So we started off with 0.5 Dilaudid. Nothing. We started off with another milligram of Dilaudid. Nothing. It took almost 5 milligrams of Dilaudid to stop the pain, because they took me in for a vaginal ultrasound. And of course, after I tell you what's wrong with me, them digging around inside my hootie haw did not help the situation at hand. But I know that they needed to do that to see what was going on. And the regular ultrasound, where they're kind of pushing a little thing down to get a picture of your stomach and stuff. Oh my Lanta. So I was in a lot of pain, a lot of pain, a lot of pain. So they gave me, within the course of like 7 hours, like I think it was 5 milligrams of Dilaudid over that time. And then they started giving me Norco, and then they started giving me Roxicodone. They were just trying to get me to stop crying because I was in so much damn pain. And I was like, the ultrasound, inside my girly parts hurt worse than when I came in. So yeah. So I also had a CAT scan to see if I was pregnant. No. CAT scan wasn't for that. The hell? No. The CAT scan to see if I had any intestinal issues, which I didn't. I wasn't compacted or anything like that. It was because, they couldn't tell right off the bat what it was. And so what happened is that when I went to ovulate, I formed a cyst. And sometimes those cysts get filled with blood and stuff, and they rupture. And that's what happened. Apparently this has been happening to me for years and years and years and years and years, and I never knew about it, because when I was over 500 pounds, my periods were horrific. I mean, they were awful, 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 awful. And so I never thought really to push the issue, because like I said, ever since I was like 13, I've had hellacious periods. Like, I mean, just gushing. I'm sorry guys for any men that happen to be watching this, but this is how shit goes when you're a woman. But I mean, just gushing, and again, la la la, if you don't like talking la la la, man, I would have like clots the size of my hand. I'm not even playing with you. But I didn't have insurance. So when you would go into the ER, they'd be like, well, you're bleeding. We can't really look in there. And, you're just fat. So get out. Remember, I didn't live in like a really good place to begin with. And I didn't have insurance. So they really just didn't want to deal with me. you know, they would give me some pain medication and just send my ass packing. When you don't have insurance, that's kind of sometimes how you get treated, whether it's really nice of them or not. But they really didn't want to help me. So I had no idea that this was happening over and over and over again until this time. So yeah, I had a big ass cyst on my right ovary, which is very common. That's where most people have their issue. And it blew up, and I started hemorrhaging. So there was a lot of blood in my abdomen. Now, when you have a bunch of blood and stuff, your body doesn't like that, and it wants it out of there. And so that's where all the pain and the cramping and the stuff, until the blood is absorbed, that's where all that goes. That's why I was in so much pain on Tuesday. It had ruptured and I didn't know it. And then I started hemorrhaging into my abdomen. So of course that scared me and my husband and my mother-in-law. They were taking turns sitting with me, and then it was a travesty. So they finally decided that they were going to admit me to make sure that I wasn't bleeding anymore, because they had told me that maybe I was going to have surgery. And so, of course, that, again, scared me to death. They were like, we'd have to remove the ovary and all that, which scared me to death. You guys know how badly I want children. So you can only imagine how that felt to me, knowing that they were going to take one of my ovaries. So, of course, I'm just like losing my shit in the hospital. So finally they get me upstairs. Now, I get upstairs around 3 o'clock in the morning, I think. Right around, yeah, I'm going to say 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't have any more pain medication until 10:30 because they had just... I was crying. I was doubled over. I kept asking what the fuck the holdup was. Why were they... Because I could have been in pain at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have taken my ass home and been in pain. And they weren't giving me any fluids. So they had stopped my fluids in the ER, thinking that, you know, because they had to keep taking my blood to see if my numbers kept going down. Well, when you're, you know, being influxed with fluid and stuff, it can dilute the numbers. So they didn't want to see my numbers diluted. So they had stopped my pain medication, waiting for the new doctor to come in at 6. They had stopped my fluids, but they weren't allowing me to have anything to drink. So I was getting dehydrated. They weren't giving me any ice. They weren't allowing me any water. They weren't allowing me anything. And I had not eaten since like 6 o'clock that afternoon. So I was starving to death. So breakfast came around. Finally, a doctor came in at like 7:30. And he's like, why don't you have any fluids? And I was like, that's a great question. And he's like, oh, where's your pain medication? I was like, that's a great fucking question. So yeah, I hadn't had any pain medication. I hadn't had any food, and I hadn't had any, you know, water or anything for hours and hours and hours. And so finally he goes in there and he's like, okay, I'll get you your pain medication. You know, we'll get you settled. Cause I hadn't slept because I couldn't feel, I was so upset. And I was there until like 7 o'clock by myself because my mother-in-law had to go home to go to bed and my husband was supposed to be working. So he left that night too. So I was sitting there in agony for hours by myself with barely any damn internet. So, they kept coming in there and sticking me for all kinds of stuff, and like, you know, I would be like, I need my pain medication, that's why I'm here, you're supposed to be pain managing me, hello, you know, and then it was not a very comfortable experience. So finally, around, I want to say 10:30, they came in with some Norcos, and then they came in with my Wellbutrin, and they came in with some bags of fluid. So finally, you know, and then they're like, well, we're going to take your labs again at 12 to see if you need surgery or not today. And I'm like, why the fuck wouldn't you just take my labs now? And, you know, why wouldn't you just take my labs now? Now would be a good time to take my labs. And they're like, oh, well, you know, so needless to say, they come in at like 12:30, take my labs. By, I think, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I think it took an hour. By almost 2 o'clock, they came in and said that my hemorrhaging had stopped and that if I wanted to, I could go home. Yeah, I wanted to go home. As number one, like, they didn't have to, they were so understaffed upstairs, they didn't have time to really deal with me. there were just so many people in and out of the wing. There was just, it was a clusterfuck. And they were like waxing the floors. Like, so how the hell can you sleep through that? I couldn't. Like, and I kept trying to make myself go to sleep because I was like, the longer I go to sleep, the longer I have to worry about how hungry I am and how thirsty I am, because I still wasn't allowed anything to drink until they came back with my blood thing. So finally, thank you, Jesus, the doctor came in and he's like, okay, so your blood levels have stabilized. Would you like to go home? I was like, yes. Yes, I would. He's like, you can eat now. And I was like, okay. So my husband brought me some food and I didn't like it. I didn't want it. And wasn't feeling it. So I had a power bar. So yesterday, all I had to eat was a power bar and some cheese. And then I came home and immediately went upstairs and went to bed. I was just so exhausted. I slept until like 8:30 this morning. And I know I went to bed probably around 4 or 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I was just so tired. So, moral of the story is that I do not have PCOS. I don't have it. I still don't have it. He said that is not what causes these. It's a hormone imbalance that is not the same as PCOS, because that's the first thing I asked him. I was like, so do I have PCOS? He's like, no. But these will continue happening until, he said, you know, until I get on birth control can help it. But losing weight will help it a lot more because it'll stop. I overproduce estrogen. And those can cause those as well. So again, my revision, good thing. But okay, so yeah, anyway, I didn't want to have, they offered me surgery to take out the ovary. Okay, I'm holding the little tripod in my hand. They offered me surgery to take out the ovary, and I was like, no, I do not want you to take my damn ovary. Not just because you know, you guys know that I'm working to try to have a revision. So if they're going in there and doing shit, like, I can only imagine my doctor being like, you know, you just had surgery. I don't really think it's safe to give it to you this year. And then all the hard work and everything that I've been doing would be right out the damn window. And they kept offering me soda, like in the hospital. Like, after I was able to have something to drink, they were like, do you want something to drink? Do you want some Sprite? Do you want some ginger ale? And I was like, I can't have that. I just want some ice water. I just want some ice. Just give me some water. And they kept offering me, like, you want some orange juice? Want some apple juice? Yes, I want all of those, but I can't have them. Can't have it. So I don't know if I'm still in ketosis, because I don't know what all they gave me or how it, you know, messed with my body or whatever. I have no idea. So you'll see little clips of me in the hospital, and then at the very end of this, you'll see some pictures. And also, I didn't film much. I didn't feel good. I didn't want to deal with much, so I didn't. So I hope that answers everybody's questions. I'm okay. I just do not feel well. So that's about it. If you have any questions about any of the stuff that I talked about today, like if you worry that you have it or something, you want to know something or something other, yeah, I'll be here. I love you, beautiful, gorgeous, amazing faces. Thank you for all the prayers and loves and texts and calls and all the good stuff that I got over the last couple days. And I'll talk to you guys very, very, very soon. Mwah. Bye. Hey guys, hey, how you doing? My ass is in the hospital, so I ain't doing. Yeah, yay. I had a CAT scan. I had a pregnancy test that came back negative. Having lower abdominal pain and a lot of pain in my abdomen in general. I'm just not feeling bueno. I'm feeling no bueno. So I'm just waiting for them to figure out what's going on. I'm hoping it's something simple, but you never know. And with a gastric bypass, and as many, you know, stomach surgeries and stuff that I've had, it's good to get everything checked. So I love your beautiful faces, and I'll check it later. God, I'm admitted. I'm about to get my oxygen hooked up. May have surgery in the morning. I don't know yet. We will see, depending on how the cyst goes, if they can get my pain under control, and if I'm not bleeding anymore, then maybe I can go home tomorrow. My mouth is so dry because I can't drink, just in case I have to have surgery in the morning. I feel terrible. So I had a cyst, hemorrhage, and if I do have to have surgery in the morning, they'd be removing one of my ovaries. So I can tell you I'm not really looking forward to that, and I'm a little scared. I'm alone. I'm not feeling very good. The pain is just terrible. But I am where I am because it's where I need to be. And I'm very thankful for TRICARE for taking care of me. I'll check in a little bit later, guys. Love your faces.